True friends are hard to find. They stick closer than family and often know you better. They pray bigger things for you than you pray for yourself. They believe with you when your faith is weak. They make space for you when life falls apart, and they rejoice with you when all is well. Most importantly, true friends remind you in every encounter who and what is most important. The essence of Christian friendship is companionship forged in the fire of two convictions. Christian friendship is a treasure because it helps us cling to our greatest treasure. God places value on friendships. That is why He would reveal your friends to you before He blesses you. The greatest danger to our souls is that we might abandon abiding in Him, following Him, and finding our joy in Him. Therefore, the best gift a friend can give is a commitment to fight for our joy in and communion with Christ. Conversely, the worst distortion of friendship arises when a friend encourages us, consciously or unconsciously, to place our affections elsewhere. The Apostle Peter unwittingly acts out this kind of distortion in Matthew chapter 16. Jesus tells His disciples that He will die and rise again. In Matthew chapter 16, verse 21. Peter rebukes Jesus with what was surely a well-intentioned comment from a loyal friend. "Far be it from you, Lord, this shall never happen to you." Matthew chapter 16, verse 22. It looks like the deepest, most genuine, most beautiful form of friendship, but Peter's words put him between Jesus and his obedience to the Father. His ignorance made a friend into an enemy, at least for a moment. "Get behind me, Satan! You are a hindrance to me." Matthew chapter 16, verse 23. What Peter thought was helpful, Jesus called a hindrance. What Peter assumed was godly friendship, Jesus called satanic opposition. These are a few things God will show you about your friends before He blesses you. Number 1. They encourage your joy in God. Companionship always deepens joy. My favorite movie is good when watched alone, but it's better with a friend. Somehow, a great meal is more satisfying when shared. We naturally drag our friends into what we enjoy. "You have to see this movie. You have to come to this restaurant with me." But of all the joys of life, God is the greatest. We were made for Him, to enjoy Him and center our hearts and lives on Him. And like any other joy, our joy in God will be fullest when we share it with other people. Christian friends help us enjoy God by enjoying Him with us. It's tempting to flip and distort this formula by using God as a means to enjoy people more. If we only go to Him to ask for spouses, friends, or kids to enjoy, it reveals we see God as the means to someone else. We should be doing the opposite, looking for more of Him in other people. Ironically, we will enjoy our friends more the more our friendships become a means of enjoying God. Number 2. They expose sin in you that keeps you from God. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Profuse are the kisses of an enemy. Proverbs chapter 27, verse 6. Sin deceives us. It darkens our understanding and makes us fools. So much so that we may be walking in sin and convinced that we are obeying God. Think of the Pharisees. This is why we desperately need friends. We need friends to lovingly show us our sin. We need friends to help us see our blind spots. We need friends to speak with brutal honesty, Matthew chapter 18, verse 15, and tender compassion, Galatians chapter 6, verse 1, telling us the truth about ourselves even when we don't want to hear it, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 15. This is a vital function of community that few people want. We'd much rather have friends who always tell us what we want to hear, who show us the false grace of excusing sin and give us false hope that we can grow closer to God without repentance. But because sin is a poison to our souls and a thief of our joy in God, we cannot afford to forsake this kind of friendship. Number 3, they encourage you to obey God. Let us consider how to stir up one another to love God and good works. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 24. While it is true we need friends to help us see any disobedience, we also need them to spur us onto obedience. Often, obedience to God takes more courage than we can muster alone. Without the faithful cheerleading of Christian friends, we easily shrink back into stagnant apathy, not wanting to willfully disobey, but also too afraid to step out in faith. The encouragement we are told to give isn't flattery or superficial inspiration. Encouragement is giving courage and strength to others for the intimidating task before them. We cast a bigger vision for why their obedience matters for God's kingdom. We affirm that their obedience glorifies God and counts in eternity. Whatever form it takes, encouragement motivates others to continue running the specific race God has marked out for them. Number 4, they bring you to God in your weakness. Behold, some men were bringing on a bed a man who was paralyzed, and they were seeking to bring him in and lay him before Jesus. But finding no way to bring him in because of the crowd, they went up on the roof and let him down with his bed through the tiles into the midst before Jesus. Luke chapter 5, verses 18 and 19. Walking through life in a God-belittling world with our sin-ridden flesh against a hell-bent enemy is too hard to be attempted alone. Alone, we easily believe the lies of Satan. Alone, we buckle under the weight of our sin. Alone, we grow discouraged and weary. Like the paralytic, we need the help of other believers to carry us to God. So how can we bring others to God? We listen to a sister confess a hidden sin and wash her with the truth that Christ has cleansed her and made her whole. We can meet the practical needs of those enduring intense suffering in Jesus' name. Or we can simply bring our friends to God in prayer, asking Him to do greater things in their lives than we can do for them. God is interested in the friendships we keep, and He would not let you have what your friends would use against you.